What's good with y'all? Welcome back to the channel. I hope y'all are having a wonderful and blessed day. Today we're going to be checking out why WWE Summerslam doesn't feel special, man. This is a video I've been... You alright? We got my bro back in the cut. This is a video that I've been wanting to watch for a little minute. It is by Assemble Wrestling. He does a really good job, and I like the way he does his content. So we're gonna check this out and see if I have some of the same sentiments or if I'm feeling a little bit different. And y'all let me know as well down below.
For some reason, SummerSlam doesn't really have that big special feeling to me. What about you? I want to go through just some of the concerns that maybe we have about SummerSlam this year. I do think, I'll be optimistic and positive here, I do think that there is a lot of great matches on the card. Not everything is doom and gloom, but I think it's worth discussing how all of this has kind of come together, how the builds have been, some of the issues they've had with this build. SummerSlam is going to be a two-night affair for the very first time. This can be seen as great, or it could be seen as not so great. It's a big test, right? To see how fans, how they will receive having a two-night SummerSlam instead of the traditional one night. We've been used to two-night WrestleManias for a number of years now, but it does feel like this is the direction for all of their major PLEs. That going forward, we're gonna see a little bit more of this. I don't mind having two-night shows. I really don't. If the cards are stacked enough, if the stories are compelling, then great. I'd rather have it maybe spread out over two nights with having, 6 matches on the card each night versus 10 matches in a single night. It's a 5-hour show, you know what I mean? But everyone's got their preference. One of the main things though, as I mentioned at the beginning, is the build. They've had what feels like a 3-week build for SummerSlam, and part of me anyways, I feel like this has been a good thing, and it's also hindered some of the feuds. And the reason why I say it's kind of a good thing
sign the contract
is that you got a shorter, smaller window to get the hype points across with all of these storylines and their major feuds, and make them matter, make them impactful, and you don't waste a lot of weeks where you're just kind of meandering around. Promo segment after promo segment, where sometimes with certain feuds, it does feel like you're just trying to get to the pay-per-view. For example,
he got a point.
He got a point
with that.
Okay, so my thing is this: I feel like definitely a lot of the storylines to me was rushed. If you ask me, and definitely but they've been doing this for a little minute now. When they get towards a pay-per-view, they start throwing stuff kind of together.
Yeah,
and go ahead. My fault, but I can see they do got some big matches and some big names coming up. There are some matches up there I'm actually hey, this just might go crazy.
Night 2 looks crazy.
Night 2 look insane.
Night 1 is decent too. It's not really bad matches. I'm most excited for the CM Punk match, but I just think he got a point as to sometimes WWE does a bad job advertising. And when I say advertising, not literally the advertisements itself, putting out the show, they do that. They brand well, but I'm saying when it comes to the matches, the builds could be done a little better. Yeah. But sometimes, depending on the superstar, they got to do with time constraints. If they doing movies, they got to come back. But I felt overall, could the build have been better? Yeah, but y'all know I say all the time, sometimes when the build suck, the show be OD.
And it's crazy because if you think about it, bro, just recently, just looking at a lot of stuff, a lot of now more of the superstars, because the way WWE has been rebranded, a lot of this stuff, they're more movies, shows, or we just saw Logan Paul, Randy Orton and them on the Tonight Show a couple a week or two ago.
Yeah, which is really cool.
So which is crazy, and it's been a while since we had something like that happen, but it's just the fact that stuff like that with busy schedules and stuff like that, bro, it's hard to kind of because everybody is everywhere now. Yeah. So it's it's hard.
Lead up to WrestleMania 41, some of the build and some of the feuds, they felt very good and very strong. But there was a little bit in me that felt man, the Cody Cena feud, for example, the build to that, it felt like it went on for a very long time. Or even the triple threat of Punk, Seth, and Roman. Felt like the build was a long one. That certain weeks, it was, if you remember, it was Seth saying on Raw, tune in to SmackDown because something's gonna happen, or Punk saying tune in to Raw because something's gonna happen. I'm gonna talk then. A little bit too much filler. I don't know where you stand on this, because I'm a little torn if a shorter build, like a 3 weeks ish that we've had, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I feel like it just comes down to what stories you're able to tell within that time. But if we rewind the tape a little bit, it goes back, this kind of concern or issue, I guess, comes back to Night of Champions. You had King and Queen of the Ring crown there for Cody Rhodes, Jade Cargill, and from there, you then had Saturday night's main event you had Evolution all on the same night, and then we had to go and build to SummerSlam. This is where I think WWE put themselves between a rock and a hard place.
That was crazy.
Because you knew that you're going to get Cody versus Cena. You knew you were going to get Jade versus Tiffany for sure. And some other matches you could slowly start to figure out. But because you had Gunther win the world title, go fight Goldberg at Saturday Night's Main Event, you also had Evolution that you needed to build to. So because you had these other shows sandwiched in between the bigger ones, the normal size shows, I think that that's where it created a bit of an issue, that you can't just build to SummerSlam. Yeah. And then you don't also want to lessen the importance of other shows or other matches, where you're gonna have Io versus Rhea for the title, for example. Could have been at SummerSlam, but hey, we're getting that as a triple threat now, and that's an awesome match. I hope it just means in the future, we don't necessarily always have this stopgap where there's a big PLE, then smaller shows plus weekly TV, and then the bigger PLE, you know, like Survivor Series. And you feel like, well, either nothing matters in the middle, or it's going to be that they have to just wait and they have to go and rush to get to the feuds. Yeah, and there are some things too that are seemingly out of their control. Injuries, for example. Been a little while now, but Liv Morgan got injured and they were setting things up for Evolution, and you can imagine that she was going to be in something pretty critical when it comes to SummerSlam. Bianca Belair, still injured. She got into the special guest ref spot at Evolution, but that's it. Seth Rollins, probably arguably one of the biggest ones because he has money in the bank. Yeah. He's been written off TV. It's inconclusive what his status is, but he hasn't shown up. They haven't teased anything. Yeah. And we have to assume that he is injured and he won't show up at SummerSlam. I still think that there's a chance that he does show up though. But it does kind of feel like let's touch
it there, bro. Like, I keep telling y'all, man, I got the smallest inkling, bro. They moved him off TV because y'all got to realize that this is what I thought about a few weeks ago. I don't want to talk too much because the video is kind of long in itself. But his first cash in, WrestleMania 31, heist of the century, one of the best calls on the mic you ever heard, and arguably, in my opinion, it's the best cash in. It's number one, number uno. That's the best cash in ever. WrestleMania cash in, never seen it happen. The match that it happened against, that's Brock and Roman's best match, in my opinion, outside of like maybe the match they had. They had one more match that's pretty decent. Yeah. But outside of that, that's Brock and Roman's best match. The match is already good before the cash in. Then we get the cash in. How do you top that? If this is gonna be his second cash in, you have to try to be as good or top what you did before. So how do you do that? You alleviate him from the show. For most people, if you take him off TV, he kind of leaves their minds. But for people like us that watch the shows, that think about it critically, it's that inkling. Yeah, it's gonna show up. It's and who better to do it against than his arch nemesis? Yeah,
Roman Reigns. I mean, my fault. Lord have mercy.
I know you meant CM Punk.
Yeah, you know what I meant, CM Punk. But it's all of it making sense. Like, it really is. And, like, just knowing how Seth Rollins operate, it's still that slight little change. And even when he got injured, my mind was like,
yeah, buddy.
Did him and Paul Heyman set up a little spleen just to use LA Knight as a little, little token?
I think so.
We gonna see, man. We gonna see. For sure. Crazy things has happened, bro.
To pivot some stuff with Seth not being around. Now, one of the big things that's been reported is that Drew McIntyre is outside of the United States and he's kind of left stranded. He's trying to get a flight home back to the States in time for SummerSlam. So there's reports and all that, hey, the tag team match is in turmoil and it may be canceled and called off, or they have to find a replacement for Drew McIntyre. I think The Miz volunteered, so that's something. But I mean, that one, I'm sure it'll all work out just fine. Yeah. You can't tell me that WWE is not going to just send a jet for Drew McIntyre and then fly him back. They could probably figure something out. But it still adds to it. It still adds to the list of things that you're like, man, that's just bad timing. You can also look at scheduling issues. And this is not just a SummerSlam thing. To me, this is an overall WWE thing that they have to deal with. And it's up to them. It's up to creative to figure out how do we make the stories flow, and based off of who's available when. They got to make the most of it with what they got. So what I'm talking about is John Cena, for example, is on limited dates. You don't get John Cena every single week. Obviously, doesn't wrestle unless it's very critical and kind of a story beat or a big PLE moment. He's in his retirement tour. So we have John in the main event of SummerSlam, and he's not around all that often. Now, we did have a really cool segment between Cody and John, where we had the contract signing, the beatdown, all that. I thought that was wildly fun. I thought that was very entertaining. But then, besides that, you're kind of left with promo segments. You got Cody just talking about John, and then you'll have like a final confrontation between the two of them. Roman Reigns, same thing. I think it's great to have Roman Reigns back on TV. His pop when he made his return on Raw the other week, it was huge. Crowd loves Roman Reigns. He had a great promo with Paul Heyman, little long in the tooth, but still, he got his big points across, and it makes sense for the story they're telling that he would want to get revenge on Seth's whole crew for taking him out right after WrestleMania. So there is a story all built in there. However, you got Roman Reigns for limited dates. It's just the nature of it. You got him before SummerSlam, you get him for SummerSlam, and then who knows where Roman's going to be after that. We have Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, and those are the big events. Maybe Roman's going to be back for Survivor Series, maybe not. But it certainly feels like you need a Roman Reigns on that show, and he is in a tag team match. And again, that could be Roman in that tag team match. Could have been the plan all along, or maybe he was supposed to have a match with Seth one-on-one at SummerSlam, and to me that feels like a way bigger match and would have made a lot of sense. So maybe they did have to pivot, and those things happen. But as a fan, I think it does add up to taking away from the overall momentum and making it feel like it's missing that big spark. There's Roman and Jay in a tag match. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, but I don't see Roman losing. And then I always just kind of wonder where you're going to go next. Then you have people that are missing from SummerSlam, right? Not just Drew McIntyre literally across the world, but we have people that are just left off the card. And I get it. WWE would probably sit there and say, you can't get everybody on the card. You got to go with what's hot, who's hot, the biggest stories, the biggest programs. The card fills out very quickly. And they don't want to do 15 matches a night just for the sake of getting people on TV. Totally understand it. But you do have some big names out there that were in programs, adjacent to programs, and felt like maybe they could have or should have had spots on the card. For example, LA Knight. LA Knight is wildly popular on SmackDown and now I guess he's more on Raw. He had the blow off at Saturday Night's Main Event with Seth and the injury angle and all that went down. Then after that, nothing for LA Knight. Maybe it was Seth versus LA Knight at SummerSlam in a big rematch. I don't know. But it really feels too bad for people that are fans of LA Knight. They don't get to see him at one of the biggest shows, and it's a 2-night show. Not even just a one night where there's going to be 5 to 6 matches and you go, okay, there's even less space here for people to get on the card. LA Knight is a huge star, and the crowd reactions to him are massive. I'm just surprised that he couldn't get on the card in any story and program, but I think that also then just plays into how this is all unfolded, where you do have a couple of weeks of a build. You don't want to just shoehorn a guy into a program just for the sake of it, because then it doesn't make any sense. So maybe it is the best case scenario for someone like him, where you go, we don't have anything planned, we don't want to just throw you on the show just for the sake of it. What's the point of that? And that can mess up the flow for the rest of the card, right? Because you don't get to have a different match on there that maybe had a build. Trying to look at both sides here for you. The other superstars, Bayley. Bayley and LA Knight were on Raw together. Not on SummerSlam. Bayley is mixing it up with Lyra and Becky Lynch, and the two of them are going to have their match at SummerSlam, and I think that's going to be a banger match. I'm excited for that one. But it would have been cool to see Bayley there. Maybe she will show up. Maybe she will get involved. It's no disqualification match, so she might just have a role in there. But she didn't have anything at WrestleMania. Now she doesn't have anything at SummerSlam. The other one I wrote down missing was Travis Scott. Not that I'm excited that Travis Scott would be there in any form or fashion.
I told y'all the other day, pat this nigga up. Keep him far away from the main event. Pat this nigga up, please. You could take him. Hey, I could live without seeing him in New Jersey. Pack him up.
To highlight that, I think, based on all the reporting, everything online, it seemed like Travis Scott was going to have a role in WWE in some kind of match, probably involving Cody, Cena, a tag match, something coming to SummerSlam. And all that went away. Maybe it's just not a good idea to involve celebrities so much in your critical storylines. But hey, even for people that are fans of Travis Scott, now they don't get him. And it does feel like a bit of a gap because of how involved he was in WrestleMania and the heel turn at Elimination Chamber, and he's just gone. So I think that was a big mistake, but it's sometimes those things are probably just out of their hands. It's like, this did not work out. Now let's talk about the main events for a moment here and how these are going, how the builds have been for these main events overall. I'm gonna say good, but I do see where maybe some fans have issues or take issue with it because of the short time frame that we've had to build these things. So Punk versus Gunther is going to be for the World Heavyweight Championship, main event of night 1 of SummerSlam. I think that match is going to be great. To see these two wrestle in the ring, I'm curious how their styles will clash, so to speak.
And Gunther don't have bad matches,
which is great. I'm excited to see how this match comes together, how they actually wrestle it, what story in the ring they will tell, because that seems very exciting. Has the build outside of it been that exciting? To me, Not that much. It's just a lot of promo. It's Gunther promos. I thought on Raw this past Monday, I thought the Punk promo that he did against Gunther in the ring, I thought Punk really talked it up and really tried to sell it.
That promo was
He
good.
needs to win the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah.
I like that.
So
I thought he showed more intensity. I did like that. He was really getting intense with it, and you need that for a big world title match.
Yeah.
But this all stemmed from Punk winning the gauntlet match, and right after Seth's injury was announced, they weren't sure what they were going to do, seemingly. But Punk wins the gauntlet match, which didn't have any fanfare, no pre-build of Punk being interviewed about the gauntlet, why he wants the world title. He just came off of the match in the feud with John Cena where he lost because of Seth Rollins. So it's like they pivot him back to the world title, won the gauntlet, here's a match. And sometimes, you know what? Simple,
works.
Straightforward stories like that can totally work.
But
It doesn't always need
like
to be grudge,
happen.
blood feuds. You gotta get to these stories somehow where you're like, we need new challengers for the world championship. Here you go. Here's one of the biggest names that's on the card. Gotta get him in a prominent spot.
Too.
The match
been
can totally
the
come
same
together
people.
and maybe be the best match of the night.
bro.
But I can't help but sit here and also look at the other side of it and go, you know what? It's just been 3 promos. And nothing else. No physical interactions, no altercations, no backstage beatdowns where Gunther's like trying to just take out Punk, getting vicious and nasty with him. None of it. So it's just been it feels like in some regard, it's a big, I'll see you at SummerSlam. Cody and Cena, kind of the same deal. Like I mentioned earlier, I thought the contract signing beatdown was a great moment. Cody's speech at the end of King of the Ring, also a great moment, where he's getting intense, gets to be King of the Ring, and wants to get the ball back, wants to be Mr. Quarterback. We've done this at WrestleMania 41 already. So it's going to be very interesting how they play it out in the match. This is once again one of those matches where I'm looking at how's the street fight going to play out? What's the ending going to be like? The things I'm excited for. But the build to it, it feels a lot of the same stuff. Let's do more promos. I feel like it's just, we got to get more creative if you're WWE of brainstorming different ways to approach these builds. There's no right way or wrong way, I guess, but I just feel like you could do John Cena, you know, taking Cody Rhodes out backstage. Try to run him over with a car or something fun. Get outside of the arena. I don't know, do something. Make Cody feel like, I don't know, maybe he's more vulnerable, or maybe they want to play into insecurities and make him feel like he doesn't know if he can get it done this time because he lost to Cena at 41. Or even John wrestling metaphorically with the idea of, does he go more babyface or does he become a heel? They just had cowardly Cena in the last segment. And maybe all of it will just kind of unfold in the match itself, and that'll be great. But as you're watching weekly television unfold, you're kind of waiting for those larger story beats. And I think because you have certain superstars on limited schedules, availability, I think that also kind of plays into how it kind of hurts the build sometimes. And some of the builds I think lack urgency. Tiffany versus Jade. That match is probably one that I'm least looking forward to across both nights. Because I think that it's great that Jade won Queen of the Ring. I think that's a great direction. Get the rocket strapped on her and see if she can become WWE champion and roll with her as a big superstar, single superstar and champion. But I can't help but notice that week after week, these two getting in the ring, meh. It's not very personal. It's not very interesting. They do a little tug of war. Felt like Brock and Roman. Then we're just kind of waiting for the match to happen. Maybe it's a lack of chemistry. Maybe it's just a lack of time to be able to build a very compelling story together. But that's where I feel like something's kind of missing there, where I'm like, that's not clicking the way I wish it would. And even Jay and Roman, as we mentioned Roman earlier, I feel like that story could have used a lot more. I know you got Roman Reigns for a limited amount of time, but why not anything backstage between Roman and Jay about their relationship, their dynamic? Is there any issue there? There's like no issues, period. Like Roman Reigns in character, he never apologizes. He's always still the same Roman Reigns. That's the character, but they're not dealing with any of their personal issues. There's no wondering or question mark if the two of them can coexist, which is a classic WWE thing to do. But is it missing for you that spark, that special feeling that maybe you would get from previous SummerSlams? Or are you super excited for it? The majority of the matches on the card, I'm excited to see how they play out. That's great. The women's triple threat, the steel cage match for Solo and Jacob. Dom and AJ could be a lot of fun. The women's tag team match,
that's gonna be good.
Charlotte and Bliss are getting like super over. They could win the tag team title. And I'm getting a TLC match, tag team match at SummerSlam.
Oh my
well, that's gonna be just bananas. But I leave it with you. Is SummerSlam missing something special? Do you love it? Do you hate it?
What y'all think, man? What you got?
Okay, so my concern. So here's the thing. I feel like, bro, sometimes like with the build up and stuff like that. For some reason, lately it seemed like when WWE do less building, that be the good.
It's weird.
It's weird. And then the ones that they build up for so long, it's like. So I don't know, bro.
Just want to let it play out, basically.
I'm just gonna let it play out. I don't really got no big issue because really, like the card itself is not bad. So I'm not really too mad about anything that's going on SummerSlam. Only thing I'm pretty much worried about is the Jade and the Tiffany Stratton match. And the reason why is because, like, with Jade, like, she always get criticized for, like, her style. From, you know, how she wrestled in AEW to how she gonna correlate that to WWE. But really, if you think about it, every superstar that has came from a different company has had that same thing. Because AJ talked about that. He said he wished he would have went to NXT first, developed a little more, and then come to WWE. But as far as the card, I'm not mad. I just feel like the building could have been a little better for certain stuff, but I'm not mad at the card.
I say for me, I just think it's nuance. You got to use nuance in these situations. Mm-hmm. Like, he basically restated what I said earlier, so I'm not going to go back into all of it a lot because I don't want to draw everything out. But, again, schedules, people being able to be on the show at the same time, different cities. Mm-hmm. It's a lot going on with the top stars, and the people who are the top stars, they're becoming more and more part-time, so it is what it is. I didn't even realize, well, I probably thought about it, but LA Knight not being on the show is still a little crazy. And it just the way things are, I still think it's going to be a good show. Mm-hmm. Night 2, I think it's going to go stupid. Night 1 is pretty decent, too. I still think Seth is going to pop out, and I'm going to think that until we get to the match. And if he don't, he don't. If he does, he does. But that's here or there.
I'm putting my checks in right now.
I think he's going to show up.
Seth Rollins bringing his hind part on in there.
I believe so, man. But that's all I got. I think it's going to go good. There's a few things they could have did better, but that's the nature of the beast. What y'all think? Like and subscribe if you're new. Leave a comment, too. I'm going to see y'all in the next one. How do you drink that, bro? The aftertaste is like medicine, bro.
It helped me get in shape, so I take the taste.